18 days left. Okay, maybe I've come full circle by the end of the week when it comes to Mieko's attitude. Maybe endearing was a strong word. It's sort of funny, potentially even amusing, but I can't deal with that long term. I don't think I could even deal with that from a girlfriend. That started to set in when I was talking to Mieko, Harutsuku and Matsuyama, and Mieko kissed me then told me, again, to not get used to it. Our conversation went on as normal afterwards, like it always does. After film studies I went and talked to Geniki since she looked like she was seething in her seat. I asked her what was wrong and she told me she was below 60 in everything but Japanese and math. I told her I've been tutoring Haru and she could come over and join, but she's decided she'll just fail out of school. After that I talked with Haru, Mieko, Matsuyama and surprisingly Masatake. At first I only went over because I wanted to get Masatake away from Haru. But she stayed, and though she was very nervous she was pretty nice. But I am still almost certain she was a part of my attacks, so I'm not letting my guard down that easily. When the bell went, Misaka broke the record of how close someone can be to someone else and still fall over them. We're down from 1 inch to a whole centimeter. She also knocked over someone else before even leaving the classroom. During break Masatake tried to nicely join in on another conversation, which didn't even go far because Kiro was trying to pick a fight with everyone. When she did leave it was still horrible because of the sheer amount of people trying to talk during the conversation. Before the last class I noticed Yeiko leaving before everyone else. I followed her and she went to the locker room, which seems to just be her hangout spot. It was must me and her, so I once again tried to reason with her on the subject of Kiro. Considering we're graduating soon I'm not sure if it even matters anymore, but I still wanted to try. But she barely even tried to hear me out and ran away. Haru came over for tutoring again. We got some stuff done, but she seemed pretty distant. Not defensive like she's been before, but yeah, I guess distant is the best word.
I have to tell you something on Monday.
Monday? Why Monday? You couldn't just have told me when you were here, or maybe now.
I think it's important to say in person.
So tell me tomorrow when you come over.
No, I can't do tutoring over the weekend.
Why not? Weren't your grades really low?
Yes, but I can't do it over the weekend.
Alright, if you say so. 17 days left. I've spent today working out, shopping, and making money for rent tomorrow, but also reconsidering my relationships. I really don't think I can even be friends with Mieko with the random bursts of weirdness. I've been so focused on her these past weeks that I have been considering anything beyond school. I haven't made any moves to become a game artist. And I'm not sure if I can settle with just being a general commission artist, so tomorrow I'm going to have to talk to her. I'm worried that she'll just deflect and say the weird things, which is weird because a week or so ago I would just be expecting her to act normally. Hopefully it goes well. 16 days left, or 12 school days left. I paid my rent, played a game and stretched before I ripped the band-aid off and invited Mieko over. It started off the way I worried about. Maybe that's because my opener was great for a weird response. I know you like me and I like you. She tried to tell me she didn't and called me stupid, so I brought up how many times she's kissed me and how many times I've kissed her. She started listening when I explained how she made me feel and how I wanted to have a continuing relationship, but not with how she currently acted. In the end she agreed to do better and left, and that's where we're at. I guess time can only tell if she will actually do better. 15 days left. Haru will be on her way over soon to do tutoring and tell me some special secret, so I'm going to try get through this before she gets here. I played my morning game. And when I got to school the first person I talked to was Matsuyama. She said something about being on first-name basis today, but even though we now talk consistently she doesn't really seem like full friend potential. Once Moron left them alone I talked to Haru and Taisuke. Matsuyama didn't follow but Mieko and Geniki came over, but that drew Moron back. Mieko acted normal for the whole day. But that could just be because I took precautions to not trigger her, I guess. Muranobu didn't try pick many fights, but when the bell went I still shoved her away to make it known she isn't welcome around us. When I was going into Japanese, Kiro flipped me off right in front of Yeiko. Yeiko even looked at me afterwards, which pretty much tells me she just doesn't care. After that class I was just going to have a conversation with Mieko, but then, unprovoked, Kiro tried to pick a fight with me. So a fight she got. For 20 minutes I had her against a window absolutely destroying her. Haru stood by and taunted her. I didn't knock her out and somehow she was still standing afterwards. I only stopped because the bell went. During break I tried to have that talk with Mieko but Ayasada inserted herself. she kept going between insults and having a normal conversation. Unlike Kiro, she tries to hide how evil she is. After Jimmy, Mieko and some others all tried to convince Yaeko how bad Kiro is. This happened in the locker room, of course. Even with multiple people's stories about how horrible Kiro is, she still didn't care and kept defending her, and that's all for the day before Haru comes over. So, she came over, for tutoring. I asked her about the secret and she said she'd tell me at the end. This was the easiest session. She wasn't trying to fight against what I was teaching her, and seemed to understand basically everything despite not asking questions. Then she got up to leave and almost went without telling me. I got her to though. Her, Kiro, Ayasada, and Masatake all beat me up that day. The second attack she was replaced with Juzo. She claims to regret what she did, and she befriended me because she thought she could stop them from hurting me. Obviously that didn't work, and even though everything's technically fine now, she thought it would be best for me to know. My exact suspicions have been confirmed, and I have absolutely no idea how to feel.
Haru.
Don't come near me.
No, Haru, it's just me, the others aren't around.
I want absolutely nothing to do with you.
I don't think I can do this anymore. I talked to Miyako, and she let me talk to her. She made me, I don't know, feel seen in a group conversation, so much more than when I talked to Ayasada and Kiro.
I don't believe you.
And I didn't believe you when you said Miyako was good, but I see it now.
I'm not falling for this. We can't be friends when you're still with them.
Haru.
I have pepper spray on me, remember. Do not follow me.
14 days left. So many annoying things happened today. It started off bad when I got to school. The first thing I saw was Tsuku and Matsuyama knocking each other over. Then there was a gaggle of people including Moron and Ayasada arguing. I joined and got Moron and Ayasada away. I talked with the others for a bit, then I went for a walk around the school. I went behind the stage curtain in the gym and overheard Kiro and Masatake talking. Kiro was telling her how if she left a mysterious she would be making a big mistake, and someone would only make her life exponentially worse in the end. Masatake ran off to the locker room, so I followed. As soon as I started talking, she turned around and knocked me over, apologized and ran away. During break I couldn't even start talking to anyone before Kiro got in the way. I guess it's less rude than interrupting a conversation, but that doesn't mean anything considering all the shit Kiro has done, so I got into a bit of a fight with her. Nowhere near as bad as yesterday. I had to stop when a teacher walked in. I think she suspected me but didn't actually see anything, so I couldn't get told off. She still tried to insult me despite the teacher being there, but Taisuke yelled at her to shut up and she ran away. Really pathetic on her part. All it took was for someone to tell her to shut up. The teachers stayed around though, so it was hard to talk for the next 10 or so minutes. After film studies, Kiro was already causing issues with Haru, and I don't know if I can say it was against my better judgment, but I stepped in. I've kind of known this whole time, and for a while now Haru has been a close friend. I don't know if it was solely me or the teacher coming in that did it, but Kiro eventually left her alone. I saw Masatake slip out of the class and I followed her. She sprinted as fast as she could to the gym where I eventually caught her. I interrogated her about what Haru had told me. She tried to deflect it at first, but cracked and said it was originally Ayasada's idea, but Kiro has been keeping it going. But then she toppled over me and I went to class because I simply didn't want to deal with her. I left Haru's swing by this afternoon just to grab notes. It took me basically an entire hour of texting to convince her I was not so bothered that I wanted to see her fail out after she got this far. 13 days left. I'm writing this while I wait for the email saying if I survived the purge or not. Even though I'm on track, I did some study before going to the kabini. I tried to get as much food to last me the rest of the school term. I don't know why. Shopping isn't an issue for me anymore, it's just sort of a fun challenge. I got to school just before class and started talking to Matsuyama and Mieko. Mieko kissed me and I thought things were going to be fine, but she mumbled something weird. I guess it was better than yelling it. We talked about ikebana and fitness until it was time to go to math. Moron shoved Mieko against a locker, so I shoved her back and got her to move along. After math and before gym I talked to Masatake. I tried to get more information on Ayasada, apparently starting everything and Kiro just continuing it, but she wouldn't give me anything else. She got close to knocking me over but only knocked into me. Maybe by graduation she's be able to stand up straight. Moron started issues as soon as gym ended, which she skipped with Takshi by the way. I smacked her around a bit, and just before she finally walked away, I saw Kiro kiss Yaeko, which Yaeko did not seem to like. I just stared in shock, and Masatake snuck over to me. I was considering talking to her, but Kiro got into a fight with Geniki. She probably could have handled it, but today was probably her last day, so I stepped in. Before the last class, I tried my luck and kissed Mieko, and guess what? No weird response. She acted normal about it. I guess she did take what I said to heart. That's a great sign. And the emails come through.
Dear Miss Miyako Kimi, you will continue to attend our school due to your above 60 grades. We hope you will continue to succeed. Your current grades are attached below. Japanese 92, Math 101, Health and Fitness 101, Science 101, English 100, Home Economics 101, Film Studies 101, Art 101.
Compared to last month, I've gotten better in everything and stayed the same in my 101 classes.
Thank you, Miyako. I really couldn't have done this without you.
12 days left. When I got to school, I started talking to Haru, Taisuke and Tasuku. They already knew who had been kicked out, which was Geniki, as expected, Matsuyama and Takashi, so for the next 8 weekdays I'll only have 10 people in the class. It's a shame those 10 people include multiple people that hate me. Speaking of which, not long after I got to school, Ayasada and Muranobu came to cause arguments. But it wasn't as bad as most other times they try interrupt things. After gym I had another small issue with Ayasada. I was just talking to Mieko and she came over and shoved me, then walked away. During break I got more information from Masatake. Apparently I was spreading rumors about her Ayasada, Kiro and Haru, and was going to get them kicked out. I asked her if she actually believed that, and she said she wasn't sure, but in a way that sounded like a yes. I couldn't get any more information about what the apparent rumors entailed. I saw a fight happening, so I went to deal with that. Instead of pressing Masatake more, I had to push Ayasada off Mototsun. Then I pushed Muranobu out of the classroom for good measure. After that was cleared up, I got to talk to Mieko and Tasuku in peace. Well, not full peace, because Masatake kept hanging around, which didn't entirely go well because she tripped over Tasuku. Now this might sound mean, but we have to keep in mind everything that's lead to this. During English I decided that if I could do it quickly I would push Ayasada into the bin. Just to show her her place, I guess. And only 10 minutes after the bell I did just that, and I got out right as a teacher came in. I know the definition of bullying is something about repeated behavior, but I don't think that really applies here. Once the final bell went, I whispered to Yaeko as I was leaving, effectively saying I told her so, which she glared at me for.
Did you know I passed with 6 101s? I was going to tell you earlier, but I forgot.
Oh really? Did you get those from liking Miyako's ass?
What?
Is there any reason you've been hanging around her? You can't just leave me on read for hours. I know where you live, Kata.